Welcome to Calm Mind English. Sometimes, the hardest feeling to understand is not pain. It is peace. You finally get a quiet moment. No one is asking for anything. Nothing urgent is happening. The room is still. The day is slowing down. And life is not demanding an answer right now. But instead of feeling calm, you feel strange. Your mind begins to search. It checks for something you may have missed. It replays old conversations. It looks ahead to tomorrow. It studies the silence as if silence itself is hiding a problem. This can be confusing because peace is supposed to feel good. You may think, why can I not relax when everything is fine? Why does my body feel restless when there is no clear reason? Why does calm feel less natural than pressure? The answer is not that you are broken. It may be that your mind has spent a long time learning how to survive tension. When your days have been filled with stress, responsibility, uncertainty, or emotional noise, your mind becomes used to being alert. It learns to prepare. It learns to watch. It learns to stay ready before anything happens. Then, when a peaceful moment finally appears, the mind does not always trust it. It may treat calm like a pause before something difficult. It may think, something is missing. Something is wrong. I should be doing something. I should be fixing something. I should be preparing for something. This is how peace can become unfamiliar. Imagine coming home after a long day. You take off your shoes. The house is quiet. You have no major task waiting for you. You sit down, but within a few minutes, you feel uncomfortable. Your hand moves toward your phone. Your mind starts checking messages. You remember a small mistake from earlier. You think about a bill, a plan, a person, a problem. Soon, the quiet moment is gone. Nothing attacked you. Nothing changed outside. But inside, your mind could not stay with peace. For many people, this happens so often that they begin to believe they are simply anxious people. But sometimes anxiety is not a personality. Sometimes it is a learned rhythm. The mind repeats what it knows. If it has known pressure for a long time, pressure can feel familiar. Even when pressure is painful, it gives the mind a role. It gives the mind something to scan, solve, plan, or control. Peace is different. Peace asks the mind to stop performing for a moment. That can feel strangely unsafe. A quiet life can feel empty to a mind that has been living in survival mode. A calm day can feel suspicious to a body that has been trained to expect interruption. A gentle moment can feel uncomfortable when your nervous system is used to being pulled in many directions. This does not mean you should avoid peace. It means you may need time to recognize it. Peace is not always a warm feeling at first. Sometimes it arrives as awkward silence. Sometimes it arrives as boredom. Sometimes it arrives as a strange restlessness, because the mind does not yet know what to do when nothing is demanding its attention. That first discomfort is not failure. It is the mind meeting a state it has not practiced enough. Think of a person who has lived for years with constant noise outside their window. Cars, voices, sirens, footsteps, engines. At first, the noise is stressful. After a while, the body adapts. It becomes part of normal life. Then one day, they move somewhere quiet. The silence should feel peaceful, but at night, it feels strange. They hear every small sound. They notice the space too much. Their body waits for the old noise to return. The quiet is not dangerous. It is just unfamiliar. The mind can react to emotional quiet in the same way. When you are used to solving problems, emotional stillness can feel like a missing signal. When you are used to defending yourself, safety can feel confusing. When you are used to rushing, slowness can feel like you are falling behind. But peace does not have to feel familiar before it is real. Sometimes peace becomes familiar only after you stay near it gently, many times, without forcing yourself to enjoy it immediately. You may sit quietly for 5 minutes and feel restless. That is still practice. You may have a calm evening and feel tempted to create a problem in your mind. That is still awareness. You may notice your body looking for danger even when life is stable. That noticing is the beginning of change. The goal is not to become perfectly relaxed. The goal is to stop treating every quiet moment as a threat. A mind that has lived in tension needs evidence. It needs repeated proof that calm does not always lead to danger. It needs ordinary moments where nothing bad happens after silence. It needs evenings that end without crisis. It needs mornings that begin without panic. Little by little, the mind learns a new pattern. Peace is not emptiness. Peace is not laziness. Peace is not a trap. Peace can be a normal place to return to. For now, you do not need to force your mind to love the quiet. You can simply notice the moment when calm feels strange and say to yourself, "This is unfamiliar, but it is not harmful." That small sentence can soften the fear around peace. It gives the mind a new interpretation. Instead of thinking, "Something must be wrong," you begin to understand. My system is learning a different state. That is enough for the beginning. There is a hidden reason why peace can feel uncomfortable. The mind does not only respond to what is happening now, it also responds to what it has learned from before. If you spend a long time in pressure, criticism, conflict, uncertainty, or emotional responsibility, your mind may have learned that quiet moments do not last. It may have learned that safety can disappear quickly. It may have learned to prepare before there is proof of danger. This kind of learning can become automatic. You may not be thinking about the past directly. You may not be remembering one clear event. Still, your mind may carry the old pattern into ordinary life. A peaceful evening begins, and your mind checks for problems. A kind message arrives, and your mind wonders what the person really means. A day goes smoothly, and part of you waits for the thing that will ruin it. This is not because you want drama. It is because the mind can confuse familiarity with safety. If stress was familiar, then stress may feel strangely normal. If being alert helped you before, your mind may continue to use alertness even when you no longer need it. If you once had to notice small changes in people's moods, your mind may keep scanning faces, voices, and messages. Peace asks the mind to stop scanning. That can feel like losing protection. Imagine someone who grew up in a home where the mood could change quickly. Maybe one moment was quiet, and the next moment became tense. Maybe a small mistake led to a big reaction. Maybe silence did not mean safety. Maybe silence meant someone was upset. Later in life, this person may enter a calm room and still feel uneasy. No one is angry. No one is raising their voice. No one is asking for anything. But the body remembers a pattern. Quiet used to mean, stay careful. So the person does not fully rest. They watch the atmosphere. They listen for changes. They read small details. They may even feel more comfortable when there is a visible problem, because at least then the mind knows what to focus on. This is how peace can feel unfamiliar. The mind may prefer a known difficulty over an unknown calm. This sounds strange, but it is common. A known difficulty gives structure. It gives the brain a task. It says, solve this, avoid that, prepare here, protect there. Calm gives no clear instruction. For a mind trained by pressure, no instruction can feel like danger. This can also happen after long periods of responsibility. When you have had to carry many tasks, manage many needs, or stay strong for other people, your mind may forget how to step down. Even when the work is done, your inner system may stay in duty mode. You sit down, but your mind says, what else? You finish one task, but your mind looks for another. You receive a quiet hour, but your thoughts treat it like wasted time. Peace feels unfamiliar because your mind has linked worth with effort. If you are not doing, fixing, helping, or improving, you may feel guilty. You may feel exposed. You may feel like you are falling behind. even when you are simply resting. This is why calm can create discomfort. It removes the activity that usually protects you from certain feelings. When life is busy, you may not have to feel loneliness. When life is loud, you may not have to notice sadness. When life is urgent, you may not have to face uncertainty. But when peace arrives, the mind has fewer distractions. Old feelings may rise in the space. This does not mean peace caused the pain. Peace only made room for what was already there. A quiet evening can reveal tiredness that was hidden by motion. A slow weekend can reveal loneliness that was hidden by work. A calm relationship can reveal fear that was hidden by emotional chaos. The mind may then blame peace. It may think, I felt better when I was busy. I felt safer when there was something to solve. I felt more like myself when I was under pressure. But pressure did not always make life better. It only made the mind occupied. This difference matters. Being occupied is not the same as being peaceful. Sometimes, people keep themselves busy because stillness brings them closer to feelings they have not processed yet. They may keep music on, keep videos playing, keep plans moving, keep messages open, because silence feels too direct. The mind says, give me something to hold. Peace offers nothing to hold. It simply asks you to be here. That can feel too open at first. The hidden psychological cause is often not fear of peace itself. It is fear of what may appear when the mind stops fighting. A memory, a regret, a question, a sadness, a sense of emptiness, a need that has been ignored for too long. But these things do not appear because you are weak. They appear because your mind finally has enough quiet to show you what needs care. This is why forcing yourself to relax rarely works. You cannot shame a protective mind into peace. You cannot criticize a nervous system into calm. You cannot tell an alert brain to stop being dramatic and expect it to feel safe. A mind that has protected you needs respect, not punishment. You can begin by understanding its logic. It learned to prepare because preparation once felt necessary. It learned to scan because scanning once helped. It learned to expect interruption because interruption happened often enough. It learned to stay busy because stillness brought difficult feelings. When you understand this, you stop seeing your restlessness as a personal failure. You begin to see it as an old strategy that is no longer needed in the same way. That shift is important. Instead of fighting your mind, you can guide it. When calm feels uncomfortable, you can say, I know why my mind is searching. It is trying to protect me. But this moment does not need the old level of defense. You do not have to believe this perfectly. You only have to repeat it gently. The mind changes through repeated experience. It needs many small peaceful moments that end safely. It needs to learn that quiet does not always become conflict. Rest does not always create danger. Slowness does not always mean failure. This learning takes time because the old pattern may have been practiced for years. But every time you notice the pattern without obeying it completely, you create space for something new. You may still check your phone, but you pause first. You may still worry, but you name it as an old habit. You may still feel uneasy in silence, but you stay for one more minute. That is not a small thing. It is the mind slowly learning that peace is not an enemy. Peace is not only a thought, it is also a body state. This is why you cannot always think your way into calm. You may tell yourself that everything is fine, but your chest still feels tight. Your shoulders stay raised. Your jaw stays firm. Your stomach feels unsettled. Your sleep becomes light, even when the day was not dangerous. The body may still be living in alert mode. The nervous system is designed to protect you. It notices threat, prepares the muscles, changes breathing, sharpens attention, and gets the body ready to respond. This is useful when there is real danger or urgent pressure. But the system can stay activated for too long. When stress continues day after day, the body may begin to treat alertness as normal. It may keep a higher baseline of tension. The mind may call this normal life, but the body experiences it as readiness. Then, when peace arrives, the body does not immediately know how to shift. You may lie in bed at night, tired but awake. The room is dark. The day is over. There is nothing to solve at that exact moment. But your body still feels like it is waiting. This waiting can be physical. The ears listen more carefully. The thoughts move faster than they need to. The body feels heavy and restless at the same time. You may feel a pressure to check something, remember something, or prepare for tomorrow. This is the stress system not fully stepping down. It does not mean you are choosing anxiety. It means your body has learned a pattern of activation. A body that has been tense for a long time may not relax simply because you give it permission. Muscles may stay contracted out of habit. Breathing may remain shallow. Sleep may stay guarded. Digestion may feel sensitive. Small sounds may feel larger than they are. The body is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to keep you ready. This is why calm can feel strange in the body. When tension drops even slightly, the nervous system may notice the change and become alert again. It is almost as if the body says, "Why are we slowing down? Are we sure this is safe?" For some people, rest creates discomfort because they are used to functioning with adrenaline, urgency, or pressure. During a busy day, stress chemicals can make a person feel focused. They keep moving. They finish tasks. They answer messages. They make decisions. The body is tired, but the momentum carries them. Then the day stops. The body finally has a chance to feel what it has been carrying. The tiredness arrives. The tightness becomes noticeable. The thoughts become louder. The person may think rest is making them feel worse. But rest is only revealing the state that was already there. This is important to understand. Sometimes, when peace feels unfamiliar, the body is not rejecting peace. It is releasing the pressure slowly, and the release feels uncomfortable. A tightly held muscle can ache when it begins to soften. A guarded mind can feel exposed when it begins to lower its defense. A tired nervous system can feel unsettled when it no longer has a task to hide behind. The body needs transition. Many people move directly from high stimulation into expected rest. They work, scroll, answer, drive, clean, plan, and then suddenly expect the body to sleep. But the nervous system may need a bridge. A bridge can be simple: dimmer light, slower movement, fewer sounds, a warm drink, a quiet shower, stretching the neck and shoulders, writing down the thought that keeps repeating, sitting for a few minutes without asking the body to perform. These are not magic solutions. They are signals. They tell the nervous system that the day is changing. The body can stop preparing. The muscles can loosen. The mind does not have to keep every problem open tonight. The body trusts repeated signals more than strong commands. If you say, "Relax now," the body may not believe you. But if every night has a small pattern of slowing down, the nervous system begins to understand. This is why routine can matter. Not a perfect routine, not a complicated routine, just a repeated sequence that helps the body recognize safety. The body likes predictability when it is tired. It likes knowing what comes next. It likes clear transitions. A nervous system that has lived in uncertainty may find comfort in simple repeated patterns. Peace becomes more familiar when the body can predict it. There is also a physical reason why silence may feel strange. When external noise decreases, internal signals become easier to notice. You may feel your heartbeat. You may notice tension in your throat. You may become aware of your breathing. These sensations can make some people anxious. They may think, "Something is wrong with me." But often, the sensations were present before. The quiet simply made them visible. Instead of treating every body signal as a danger sign, you can practice describing it simply. "My shoulders are tight. My breathing is shallow. My body feels alert. My stomach is tense. This simple naming can help because it turns fear into observation. You are no longer fighting a mysterious feeling. You are noticing a body state. A body state can change. Not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually. If your body has been alert for a long time, it may need many calm moments before it believes calm is safe. It may need movement before stillness. It may need warmth before sleep. It may need fewer screens before rest. It may need permission to be tired without being pushed. A tired body does not always need more discipline. Sometimes it needs fewer alarms, less noise, less sudden input, less rushing between roles, less pressure to become calm immediately. Peace is not a switch. It is a state the body enters when enough signals point towards safety. So if you are lying in bed and peace feels unfamiliar, do not rush to judge yourself. Notice the body first. Notice the muscles. Notice the breath. Notice the places still holding the day. Then make the next signal gentle. Lower the light. Move slowly. Put tomorrow on paper. Let the room become simpler. The mind listens to the body more than we often realize. When the body receives repeated proof that this moment is safe, the mind slowly stops searching for danger. Calm begins in the nervous system before it becomes a belief. And sometimes, the most important work is not thinking more clearly. It is helping the body understand that it no longer has to. Stay prepared for everything. On Saturday morning, Daniel woke up before his alarm. There was no reason to wake early. He did not have work. There was no appointment. No one was waiting for him. The room was quiet, and the light coming through the curtain was soft. For a few seconds, he felt nothing unusual. Then his mind began to move. He thought about an email from Thursday. He remembered the laundry in the basket. He wondered if he had paid a bill. He reached for his phone before his feet touched the floor. There were no urgent messages. Still, he kept looking. He checked the weather, then the news, then a few updates that did not really matter. He scrolled until the quiet morning had a kind of noise inside it. By the time he got out of bed, he already felt behind. In the kitchen, he made coffee and stood near the counter. The apartment was not messy, but it was not fully clean either. A jacket was hanging on a chair. A notebook was open on the table. There was one cup in the sink. None of it was serious, but Daniel felt the familiar pressure of unfinished things. He drank coffee while walking from room to room. He picked up the cup, moved the jacket, opened the fridge, closed it, checked his phone again, and then stood still without knowing what he had meant to do next. The day was peaceful, but he could not enter it. Around noon, he decided to go outside. The air was cool. A few people were walking slowly with dogs. Someone was carrying groceries. A child was pulling a small branch along the sidewalk, making a dry scratching sound against the pavement. Nothing important was happening. Daniel noticed that this made him uncomfortable. He was used to days with a clear purpose. Go here. Finish this. Answer that. Fix something. Decide something. But this Saturday had no strong shape. It was open. The openness felt less like freedom and more like a question. He walked to a small park and sat on a bench. The trees moved a little in the wind. Across the grass, an older man was reading a newspaper. A woman was sitting with a stroller beside her, looking at the sky while the baby slept. Daniel looked at them and wondered how they did it. How could they simply sit? His leg began to move. He checked his phone again, then put it away. A minute later, he wanted to check it again. There was nothing to check. That was the problem. His mind wanted an object, a task, a reason, a small emergency, something to organize the moment around. Without that, he felt exposed. He stayed on the bench for a little longer. Not because it felt peaceful, but because he was tired of leaving every quiet place too quickly. At first, the park seemed too slow. Then he began to notice small things. A bird stepping sideways near the path. The sound of a bicycle passing behind him. the warm edge of the coffee cup he had brought from home, the way the clouds changed shape without needing anyone to watch them. His body did not fully relax, but it stopped fighting the moment so hard. After a while, Daniel walked back home. The apartment looked the same as it had in the morning, but it did not feel quite as loud. The jacket was still on the chair. The notebook was still open. The cup was still in the sink. He did not suddenly become a calm person. He simply washed the cup. Then he closed the notebook and placed it on the shelf. He did not read the pages. He did not solve every thought inside it. He only closed it. The small action gave the room a different feeling. In the afternoon, he sat on the couch without turning on the television. This was unusual for him. Normally, silence made him reach for something. A video, a podcast, a message, a task. This time, he let the room remain quiet for a few minutes. His thoughts came quickly. You should be using this time. You should clean more. You should prepare for Monday. You should not waste a free day. The thoughts sounded responsible, but Daniel noticed something. They were not really helping. They were only keeping him tense. He did not argue with them. He let them speak, and he stayed seated. Outside, a car door closed. Somewhere in the building, water moved through a pipe. The refrigerator made a low sound and then stopped. The quiet was not empty. It had texture. By evening, Daniel still felt a little uneasy. Peace had not become natural in one day, but he had touched it a few times without running away from it. He had sat in the park. He had closed the notebook. He had allowed the couch to be only a couch, not a place for scrolling, planning, or escaping. When he made dinner, he did it slowly. He cut vegetables, washed a plate, and let the pan warm on the stove. He noticed that his mind kept trying to turn the evening into a project. It wanted to optimize the meal, clean the kitchen perfectly, plan tomorrow, and answer a message all at once. But dinner did not need to become proof that he was doing life correctly. It only needed to be dinner. Later, he stood near the window as the streetlights came on. The day had not been exciting. It had not been deeply meaningful. Nothing had changed in a dramatic way, but something small had happened. Daniel had spent a quiet Saturday without turning every moment into a problem. He still felt the old restlessness. It was there in the background, like a habit waiting to be used. But it did not control the whole day. Before bed, he placed his phone on the desk instead of beside the pillow. Then he wrote one line in his notebook. Nothing bad happened when I slowed down. He looked at the sentence for a moment. It was simple, almost too simple, but it felt true enough. The room was quiet again. This time, the quiet still felt unfamiliar, but it did not feel completely impossible. A mind does not become peaceful only because the room becomes quiet. Sometimes the room is quiet, but the mind still behaves as if something is about to happen. It looks for movement. It waits for interruption. It checks for danger in places where there may be no danger at all. This is why peace can feel unfamiliar. When your daily environment is built around constant signals. A phone on the table can become a small doorway into pressure. Even when it is silent, part of the mind knows it could light up at any moment. A message could arrive. A task could appear. A person could need an answer. The body may be sitting still, but attention is already half prepared to leave. Peace needs more than silence. It needs fewer invitations to become alert again. Think about a normal evening at home. The workday is finished. Dinner is done. There is no emergency. But the television is playing in the background. The phone is nearby. A few tabs are open on the laptop, and a half-finished task is sitting on the counter. Nothing looks serious. Still, the mind receives many small signals. Watch this. Check that. Finish this later. Do not forget that message. Maybe look at one more thing. Each signal is small, but together they keep the mind in a state of readiness. A busy environment teaches the nervous system to stay slightly awake, even during rest. It becomes difficult to feel calm because calm has no clear place to land. The mind cannot easily settle when every corner of the room carries a reminder, a sound, or an unfinished decision. This is not about making life perfect. A real home will always have dishes, laundry, bags, papers, toys, and ordinary mess. Peace does not require an empty room, but the mind does respond to what it sees again and again. When your eyes keep meeting unfinished tasks, your brain keeps receiving the message that the day is not done. Even if you decide to rest, the environment may continue speaking quietly in the background. It says, there is still more. There is still something waiting. This can make rest feel almost undeserved. You sit down, but your attention keeps touching the task on the table. You open a book, but part of you remembers the email you did not answer. You try to enjoy a quiet moment, but the space around you keeps pointing back to responsibility. So the problem is not always inside your character. Sometimes the space around you has trained your mind to remain unfinished. One helpful change is to create visible endings. A visible ending is a small sign that tells the mind, this part of the day is complete for now. It can be as simple as closing the laptop and placing it away from the table. It can be writing tomorrow's first task on a note, so your mind does not have to hold it all night. It can be putting one unfinished project into a drawer instead of leaving it open in the room. The goal is not to deny responsibility. The goal is to give responsibility a place. When everything stays open, the mind stays open too. When a task has a place, a time, and a boundary, the mind can release it more easily. Digital space matters in the same way. A phone can make peace feel thin, because it keeps the mind close to other people's needs, other people's opinions, and other people's lives. Even a few minutes of scrolling can pull the mind from quiet into comparison, urgency, or noise. The strange part is that many people reach for their phone when they feel uneasy in silence. At first, it seems like the phone is helping. It fills the space. It gives the mind something to do. It removes the discomfort of being alone with a quiet moment. But over time, the mind may learn that peace is something to escape from. The quiet arrives, and the hand reaches for stimulation. The room settles, and the mind asks for a screen. A pause appears, and the body fills it before it has a chance to soften. This is how peace remains unfamiliar. The mind never stays with it long enough to recognize it. A peaceful life is not created only by thinking differently. It is also created by arranging your day so that calm has a chance to repeat. Repetition is important because the nervous system learns through patterns. If every quiet moment is immediately filled with noise, the body does not practice quiet. If every pause becomes a chance to check something, the mind does not practice pausing. A calmer environment gives the mind a different lesson. It teaches that not every silence needs to be filled. Not every moment needs input. Not every empty space is a problem. This can begin in very small ways. You may choose one place in your home where the phone does not stay. It does not have to be the whole house. It can be one chair, one side of the bed, or one corner of the kitchen table. That small place becomes a signal. When you sit there, your mind slowly learns that this is not a place for checking, replying, planning, or scanning. It is simply a place where the body can be without being pulled in 10 directions. At first, the silence may feel uncomfortable. That does not mean the habit is wrong. It may mean the old pattern is still strong. The mind may reach for noise because noise is familiar. It may want pressure because pressure gives it a role. It may look for something to solve because solving has become its usual way of feeling useful. Peace can feel strange when the mind has been rewarded for staying busy. Many people feel more in control when they are preparing, checking, organizing, or anticipating. These actions are not always bad. They can be useful. But when they become the only way the mind feels safe, Calm begins to feel like a loss of control. Environment can help here because it reduces the number of decisions required. A simple evening rhythm can protect the mind from falling back into constant scanning. For example, you may place your keys in the same spot. Write down tomorrow's main task. Clean only one small surface. Lower the sound around you, and leave your phone outside the room for a short time. None of these actions are dramatic. They do not change your whole life, but they give your mind clear signals. The day is slowing down. The body does not need to chase every thought. There is a place for tomorrow. There is a place for rest. The same idea applies to mornings. If the first thing you see is a phone full of messages, news, and other people's emotions, your mind may begin the day already alert. Before your own thoughts have had space to form, the outside world has entered. A calmer morning does not need to be long. It may only be a few minutes without input. You get up. You drink water. You look out the window. You move through the room without immediately asking the mind to absorb more information. This kind of morning gives the nervous system a softer beginning. It tells the body that the day does not have to start with impact. Peace becomes more familiar when it appears in repeated, ordinary places. A quiet chair, a clear table, a phone left in another room, a notebook that holds tomorrow's worries, a short walk without headphones, a bedtime routine that does not invite the whole world into the final minutes of the day. These are not small because they are weak. They are small because the nervous system trusts what happens often. A person cannot force the mind to feel peaceful by command, but they can build conditions where peace is less interrupted. Over time, the mind begins to notice the difference. A quiet room no longer feels empty in the same way. A pause does not feel as threatening. A slower evening does not immediately create guilt. The body starts to understand that calm is not a warning sign. It is simply a state the system has not practiced enough. So when peace feels unfamiliar, look not only at your thoughts. Look at the rhythm around you. Look at the objects that keep calling for attention. Look at the sounds that never stop. Look at the habits that fill every quiet gap before the mind can settle. Then choose one small part of your environment and make it easier for calm to stay. Not the whole house, not the whole life. Just one repeated place, one repeated time, one repeated signal. Peace often returns through repetition, not through force. There comes a point when the mind needs a new meaning for peace. For a long time, it may have understood peace as emptiness, or weakness, or waiting, or the uncomfortable space before something goes wrong. But peace can be understood differently. Peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the moment when responsibility is no longer holding your whole body at once. Peace is not doing nothing. It is letting the mind stop defending itself when defense is not needed. Peace is not proof that life will never become difficult again. It is a present state, available in small pieces, even when life is unfinished. This change in meaning matters, because the mind reacts to what it believes a moment means. If quiet means danger, the body prepares. If rest means laziness, guilt appears. If calm means losing control, the mind starts searching again. But if peace means safety, recovery, and enoughness for this moment, the body can slowly respond in a different way. This does not happen through one strong decision. It happens through practice. You practice letting an ordinary moment stay ordinary. The tea is just tea. The walk is just a walk. The quiet room is just a quiet room. The evening is not a test of your productivity. The pause is not a sign that something is missing. At first, the mind may not agree. It may still send thoughts. It may still create small warnings. It may still ask for a problem to hold. But you do not have to follow every signal with action. You can notice the signal and remain where you are. This is one of the simplest ways to teach the mind peace. Do not turn every uncomfortable calm moment into a task. If you feel uneasy while resting, you do not always need to solve the uneasiness. You can let it exist for a short time while you continue doing something simple. Sitting, washing a cup, looking outside, folding one shirt, walking slowly across the room. The mind learns through contact. It needs contact with peaceful moments that are not immediately escaped. This contact should be gentle. If silence feels too strong, start with a little silence. If stillness feels difficult, start with slow movement. If an empty evening feels too open, create a simple rhythm that gives the mind a soft structure. Peace does not need to be forced. Forced peace becomes another kind of pressure. A calmer approach is to make peace familiar by making it small. One quiet minute before checking the phone. One clear surface at the end of the day. One written note that says what can wait until tomorrow. One walk without trying to turn it into self-improvement. One evening where you let a normal feeling remain normal. These small moments are not dramatic, but they are powerful because they repeat. A nervous system does not trust a new pattern only because it sounds good. It trusts what it experiences again and again. So give your mind repeated evidence. Show it that a quiet morning can begin safely. Show it that a calm evening can end safely. Show it that silence does not always become loneliness. Show it that rest does not destroy your progress. Show it that you can pause and still be a responsible person. Over time, the mind may stop treating peace like a stranger. It may begin to recognize the shape of it, the slower breath, the softer shoulders, the room that does not demand an answer, the moment that does not need to become useful, the day that can close without being perfect. This does not mean you will never feel anxious again. It does not mean your mind will become silent forever. It means you will have another place to return to, a place that is not built on pressure, a place where the body can slowly learn, I am not in danger right now. That sentence can be enough. I am not in danger right now. Not everything is finished, but this moment is not asking me to carry everything. There may be tasks for tomorrow, but they do not all belong in my body tonight. There may be uncertainty in life, but uncertainty does not have to steal every quiet minute. This is how peace becomes familiar, not by removing every problem, but by teaching the mind that it can set problems down for a while. A peaceful mind is not a mind with no thoughts. It is a mind that does not have to obey every thought immediately. It is a mind that can hear a worry and still remain seated. It can notice guilt and still rest. It can feel unfamiliar calm and still stay close to it. That is a quiet kind of strength. When peace feels unfamiliar, do not rush to fill it. Do not call it empty too quickly. Do not assume something is wrong just because your system is adjusting to a slower state. Let peace be awkward at first. Let it be simple. Let it arrive without drama. Let it sit beside you until your mind stops treating it like a visitor. Tonight, you can begin with one small action. Choose one thing to close. Close the laptop. Close the notebook. Close the message thread. Close the door to one room. Put one task on paper and let it wait there. Then allow one ordinary moment to remain ordinary. A quiet room. A softer light. A body that does not have to prepare for everything. Peace may still feel unfamiliar, but with time, it can become a place your mind knows how to enter. And when the room is quiet, you may slowly learn to let the quiet be enough.